the concept of third-party risk or supply chain risk plays heavily into cyber insurance and the reality of sort of underwriting, that sort of thing. How does all this
Very
sort of
much so.
factor into that? Tell me a little bit, let's dive down into how this reality impacts the cyber insurance reality, if you will. The sloppy
Right.
third-party access controls and that sort of thing. What are we talking about?
Right. So I think it's a matter of degrees, with respect to cyber insurance. One of the things that we encounter, excuse me, at Myriad 360 all the time is we work with a lot of companies to boost their security awareness training. And I would pose the question to a theoretical cyber insurer, would you insure a company that does not do any sort of security awareness training? Probably not. You probably wouldn't, or you might insure them, but you would boost their premiums by, a large factor. Now, what if they did do that security awareness training, but they just did it very poorly? It's very old school, and it says, don't click phishing links, which everybody kind of knows. Don't click random links in an email. But they don't cover things like deepfake attacks or, the latest sort of social engineering techniques. Well, would you still insure that company, or would you still give them the same premium? Probably not. And I think that same idea applies to non-human identities. And where I see people, I think you're seeing a larger trend of people are starting to pay more attention to it. So even if you think, oh, this doesn't affect me, this doesn't, my organization, we don't really, we have a good security posture. We have documentation and policy in place. The insurer might see it differently because they're starting to pay attention to what damage these sort of non-human identities can do. So again, it's a matter of degrees. Like if you have no controls in place around non-human identities, if you've just given broad permissions and you don't really control the life cycle, you're not interested in monitoring or offboarding them, you might still get insurance. Your premium's going to be through the roof. Now, what if you have a little bit of control around the onboarding and offboarding, but you don't have good monitoring? You can't really see what they do after they've been given permission. You don't see where that contractor is going within the building. Yes, you checked his badge, but you don't have a security camera. That's a different conversation. And what I think people should be paying attention to, so I'll address this from kind of both sides of the equation. If you are an organization that is looking to get insured, you need to start paying attention to this because, again, as we said earlier in the conversation, the scale is growing, and it is growing rapidly, especially with the onset of AI tools. You're going to see, I couldn't give you a number on the factor increase of these non-human identities, but it's large, and it's only going to continue to get larger. So not paying attention to it puts you behind the curve. And if you're on the cyber insurance side of things, there are direct historical events that have proven that this stuff is worth caring about. There are two breaches last year. SalesLoft and Gainsight are two of the most popular ones you'll find in the media that indicate directly to these insurers that this is a real problem, and that if you are wanting to, underwrite a company, you need to start paying attention to this stuff. It's no longer just, hey, do you have a complicated password? Do you have, multi-factor authentication and, push notifications, whatnot? It's, do you have a complete and clear picture on your non-human identities in your environment? If an auditor walked in the room, could you reasonably say with confidence what permissions every single identity has, what is risky, what is not? Have we put in, various controls, et cetera, et cetera? So, whether you think, oh, I don't really care about these service accounts or not, people are starting to pay attention. The people that are going to be underwriting your policies, the people that are going to be writing compliance documents that you need to adhere to, they're going to be paying